Smiths, a watchword for quality and accuracy. Through the decades, riding the waves of new technologies. Engineered with precision. Bringing technology to life. The story begins in 1851, at the time of the Great Exhibition, when Samuel Smith starts selling jewellery, clocks and general merchandise in South London. Then Samuel's son, Samuel II, expands the business into London's West End. As the business grows, Smith's watches gain a reputation for quality, proved in special trials at Kew Observatory, first in 1884 and for many years after. And they sell top-quality timepieces to the Admiralty. They're starting to build the brand. Smiths reorganises with Samuel Smith II, the governing director, ready for the turn of the century and the start of the automobile era. The opportunities for makers of precision instruments are expanding fast. And it's the third generation of the family, Gordon Smith, who's taking the business into these new markets, as they produce an increasingly wide range of components. And they receive royal endorsement when the King's Mercedes is fitted with a Smith speedometer. The company now starts to design and make their own products. They're moving away from retailing to fully integrated manufacturing and sales. In 1914, Smiths floats on the London Stock Exchange with a capitalisation of £100,000, and the family retain half the equity in the business. Within 2 weeks of the flotation, war is declared. The situation presents new challenges and opportunities for the growing business. To support the war effort, the business expands. A new factory opens with over 2,000 workers, most of them women, and they turn out vast quantities of mass-produced material, instruments and components for military vehicles and aircraft. More capital is raised and more business is acquired. Much of the wartime production goes overseas, to Russia, France, Italy and beyond. After the war, the aircraft industry quickly expands, boosted by remarkable exploits, like the world's first direct transatlantic flight in 1919 by Alcock and Brown, flying a modified Vickers-Vimy bomber fitted with Smith's instruments. And building on the mood of post-war optimism, the firm expands with acquisitions and further diversification, especially into clockmaking. They patent their first electric clock, and business thrives. By the mid-1930s, they're producing half of all the clocks made in the UK. Consolidating their position in the auto industry, Smiths acquires KLG spark plugs. Designed by racing driver Kenelm Lee Guinness, the plugs were more reliable than any others. Smiths had been selling them on licence, now they owned the business. Providing essential parts for record breakers like Henry Seagrave and Malcolm Campbell was high profile and good for business, reinforcing Smith's reputation for making quality automotive components. In 1929, Smith's motor instruments are fitted as standard in over 95% of British-made motor cars and commercial vehicles. On the road, in the air, and now under the sea, Henry Hughes makes sextants, nautical compasses and echo sounders. And within months of the acquisition, a Hughes echo sounder is used to locate the wreck of the Lusitania, torpedoed 20 years earlier. Smiths in the 1930s. The business now comprises 3 divisions: motor accessories, aviation and clocks. As part of the Second World War effort, they developed so-called shadow factories in the west of England and Wales, to ensure production continues beyond the range of enemy bombers. During the war, Sir Alan Gordon Smith is a key player at the Ministry of Aircraft Production. And Smiths produce vital components, including parts of the anti-submarine detection equipment used in the Battle of the Atlantic. By the time the war ends, it's clear that Smiths has made an important contribution to the war effort. Post-war, and the company slogan is "Roll up sleeves, loosen collar, speed production, win the dollar." Smiths, pushing on into a post-war era of opportunity. In 1951, the fourth generation of the Smith family, Ralph, becomes chairman. The revolutionary de Havilland Comet is packed full of Smith's instruments: compass, sextant, gauges, and an early automatic pilot. 1953, and a Smith's watch on Everest is a huge marketing boost to the clocks and watches business. They produce a new Everest model and launch a special advertising campaign. Sir Vivian Fuchs, the leader of the Commonwealth expedition to the South Pole, carries Scott of the Antarctic's Smith's pocket chronometer, and every team member wears a Smith's watch. Another great marketing opportunity. The 1950s also see innovative developments for the automobile business, including the Easy Drive automatic transmission system, and expansion into the world of plastics and nylon, fast being developed for use in medical equipment and procedures. It's the start of Smiths Medical. The era of mass air travel is taking off, and Smiths are testing and supplying instruments for many of the new aircraft in development, including the Trident and military aircraft like the Vulcan bomber. Flight BE-343's landing at Heathrow is the first automatic landing by a civil airliner in scheduled passenger service. Through the 60s, the company's diversity and long-term strengths in innovation and R&D also reap rewards in other fields. Medicine, new plastic tubing, finance, the ATM, and even the movies, with James Bond driving a Smiths-equipped Aston Martin. Ralph Gordon Smith is the last of the founding family at the head of the firm. By now, Smiths is a household name, a British brand known to everyone. The 1970s see a sharp decline in the British motor industry. Time for the business to change and diversify again. They exit both the clock and automotive sectors, two long-standing core business divisions sold. As technologies develop, consumer demands change, and manufacturing power shifts elsewhere. At the same time, new opportunities emerge. The aerospace business expands with the acquisition of Lear Siegler, and so Smiths becomes a major supplier to Boeing and the US Department of Defense. Medical expands too. They acquire H.G. Wallace, who had developed the echogenic catheter. This was used in pioneering in vitro fertilization, resulting in the first test tube baby, Louise Brown, in 1978. In the 1990s, the old industrial division is reorganized, and there are astute acquisitions in ducting and high-integrity connectors. By 2000, half the company's profits derive from businesses acquired in the previous decade. 2000 sees the merger with TI, and the name changes to Smiths Group. And they're back in the FTSE 100 with a bang. Now they take the opportunity to make a far-reaching analysis of markets and products, repositioning, shedding some and strengthening others. 2007 sees another major strategic decision. Selling aerospace takes the markets by surprise and returns significant cash to shareholders. And it leads to Smiths consolidating into 5 separate businesses, each delivering leading technologies to their customers. John Crane, provider of services to the global energy industry. Smiths Medical, making specialist medical devices. Smiths Detection, producing sensors for search and protection. Smiths Interconnect, making electronic components and subsystems. And Flex-Tech, making components to move fluids and gases safely and efficiently. Smiths, over 160 years in the making. The Smiths story is one of entrepreneurial spirit, imagination and market insight, with some luck and risk-taking along the way. Responding to challenges, seizing opportunities when they present themselves, moving out of old technologies and into new ones when the times and markets were changing. From a single retailer of clocks and jewellery to a global technology company. From magnetos to mechanical seals. From wristwatches to drug delivery systems. From spark plugs to remote power panels. Smiths has ridden the waves of changing technologies. And at every turn, their products have touched the lives of people around the world. 100 years on from its first listing on the London Stock Exchange, Smiths Group remains well diversified, employing 23,000 people in 50 countries, making advanced products vital to its clients' businesses. Smiths has come a long way in 160 years and will continue to adapt, diversify and prosper into its future.